This episode of the Says Who podcast is brought to you by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. Yeah, that's our Patreon, where pretty much every Sunday you get this all over again. You get me and Maureen doing a little thing we call the Town Watch, which is basically this, only a half an hour, and just a real knee slapper. That's the main difference. Just a real
Knee
laugher.
slapper.
That's available to you at patreon.com/sayswho if you give it the $5 or $10 a month level. That $10 a month level also gets you a sticker in the mail every month, designed by me, special. Oh, that month only. Because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club, patreon.com/sayswho.
Hey, everybody. I'm Maureen Johnson, author of books.
I've heard of those.
I'd like to tell you about Death at Morning House, now nominated for an Edgar Award.
Wow.
Yes, it's been nominated for the Edgar Award for Young Adult. The Edgar Award is a mystery award. It's from the Mystery Writers of America. It's one I really am like, ooh. Anyway, read the book that people are describing as a mystery novel and full of pages. Or read other books. Honestly, just read right now.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do.
Great way to spend your time during this most January of Januaries.
The Januaryest.
This is the Januaryest January that
and
has
it's somehow still got days to go.
It is a real bag of dicks this January.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, if you would like to order some books on the internet and you would like to do it in a way that doesn't line the pockets of the oligarchs that currently run everything, you can always go to kickbezosintheballs.org. That's our own little bookshop. And big news today.
Uh-oh.
That bookshop now has ebooks available.
Finally!
So that's pretty exciting.
You don't have to buy from Amazon no more.
Now, granted, there's a bunch of caveats, and a bunch of people are like, well, I can't load it on my Kindle. And it's like, well, yes, obviously you can't load it on your Kindle. I think you can read it on your phones. You can read it on the web, which would enable you to read it on tablets and things. But yes, obviously you're not reading it on a Kindle. But ebooks, the little bit of those ebooks goes to support indie bookshops and things like that. So it's a good thing. Let's embrace the good things when they come about, shall we? Anyway, that's at kickbezosintheballs.org. If you are buying things on the internet, man, is there some sort of police action happening behind you?
Nope, this is New York. We don't have problems.
Okay. You can always go to merch.sayswhopodcast.com. That's where we have a bunch of Says Who merchandise. I also sell my own merchandise over at shop.dancinker.com. Nowhere, Maureen, in the history of anything, she's now peeking out the window to see if there is a major police action happening in her backyard.
No, it's just sometimes ambulances get stuck in traffic outside, and then they just kind of get jammed
that's
there.
That's nice. What a pleasant...
Although I did wonder if a whole like kind of caravan of police cars and then like a really mysterious looking black transporter went by, and my little inner heart went, Luigi? Like, it just, there's no proof that he was being transported anywhere. It just, part of me was, Luigi?
Just every now and then they let him drive around.
Honestly, I think the day that they transport Luigi around New York, all of New York will collude to have a kind of like bust, like we'll just kind of fill the streets and then rock that thing until he comes out. Not advocating it, I'm just saying what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, we all understand, Maureen.
Okay, wink, wink. What were you saying? Something?
Yeah, we're just trying to get going here. You ready? Did you open the notes?
Hold on. I just got to set my drink down.
Your drink? Maureen, what are you?
Pina colada.
I'm literally looking at you through...
Have a look at this. This is a pina colada.
It's a glass of water.
Hello. This is my pina colada.
Now you're just showing me like an old coffee mug, cold coffee.
I'm sorry. This is my pina colada.
Now you're just holding up a pen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm too busy being on the beach right now.
No, I mean, you're
Ugh.
literally at your desk. We were just discussing
That
New
line
York's
where the
police
sand
department.
meets the
No.
water.
You're not.
I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna swim.
No.
I'm gonna swim right now. I'm gonna go.
You're right there.
I'm a swimming time. I move my scissors, beach scissors away.
Seems-
Swimming now.
Are you drowning?
I'm swimming.
Okay.
Swimming.
Well, I mean, could you swim over to where we're starting the show?
There's a microphone here in the water. A fish is holding it.
Oh, look, you finally turned the microphone so that it's facing your mouth.
I'm on the beach. I'm on the beach. Welcome to Says Who? Podcast is not a podcast.
It's a coping strategy. I am Dan Sinker.
I'm Maureen Johnson, and I beg your forgiveness in advance for my little bit of residual cough, which is going to go on for a couple weeks. They're like, yeah, once you get better, that cough is going to linger. I'm like, cool.
This whole time we've been doing the introduction, I've been like, wow, why is Maureen so quiet? Is my volume down? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I appreciate that we are we in year 9? I never quite understand when you've rounded an anniversary. Are you in the following year or are you in that year? I don't know. Anyway, we've been doing this for a really long time, and I appreciate the fact that sometimes you just speak into the back of the microphone still.
Look, it's got a big fuzzy Muppet thing on it, and I can't tell front from back.
Okay. Well, the back is where all the cables are.
Dan.
Remember, seeing cables, turn the tables. That's your new thing to remember.
Is that
My
feet are cold.
Maureen, you seem still sick.
No, I'm definitely on the doctor was like, you're going to be sick for a week, and then you need like one more week to kind of like shake it off, and then like you'll cough for a little bit longer. So I'm not sick anymore. I'm definitely in the kind of, I'm okay, but you know, I'm not like running 20 miles. I am walking the dog again.
Okay, well, that's good.
I'm just letting myself have extra sleep at night because it was the flu. And there's so much of it in New York right now.
A lot of flu.
It is like a real flu-y out there. So I realized I got it. I went out for lunch one day, and that's when I got it. I basically went out once, and it got me.
You went out to the Hack and Cough Emporium for lunch?
I went to a delicious Chinese restaurant with my friend.
Well, aren't we
I
fancy?
There's a restaurant in Chinatown that is all vegetarian. So you have like the menu with 10,000 things on it, but they're all vegetarian. And they do a vegetarian barbecued beef that they're famous for. That's so good.
Way back in the day, it's been long closed in Chinatown in Chicago. That was a vegetarian joint. Might have been called Vegetarian Garden. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But they had little vegetarian ribs.
Yeah.
And the bone was a crispy, chewy, like crunchy thing. And wrapped around it was a vegetarian, was some sort of fake veggie meat. Those were a delight.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I talked about my mushroom steak adventure. That wasn't.
I think you might have mentioned that on the Town Watch.
Yeah. I tried to make these. I wanted to make oyster mushroom steaks.
Yeah.
Lion's mane mushroom steaks, which are expensive mushrooms, but like you can kind of turn them into steaks by marinating them. And it's cool. So they were on sale at Fresh Direct for like 2 for $15. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
I will try them.
Yeah.
Except I had the flu and I couldn't get around, but they were like guaranteed for 4 days. And I was like, cool. And 2 days in, I went to get them and they were just liquid. Like they were just piles of slop. And I was just kind of looking at them like, oh no, my mushrooms. So I didn't make them, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna find some mushrooms, and I'm feeling perkier then.
Well, that's
which,
good.
but the problem is that means I'm aware of what's happening. And I hate that part.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem. Get
That,
back to
that,
being sick.
uh, so I'm going to say that I think like emotionally, like just mental health emotionally, the last couple days have been rocky,
Yeah.
which for some reason I was sort of berating myself about, like you don't have any right to be like, and I was like, let's okay, what are you doing? Like
Yeah.
everybody feels that way,
Yeah.
and it's just like no, you just gotta. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, make sure to do the things. Like literally the chart, the liquids. I think it was also that I couldn't do any exercise or kind of move around very much for a couple
Yeah.
days and I had weird
That'll
flu
do it.
brain.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that was happening was through this weird like flu prism. And I couldn't leave the house. So I was just inside, not
Yeah.
really able to do very much. And everything was like weird flu vision. And I was like, oh, boo. So, just making sure to take care of everybody. Do the simple things. The simple things really work. I cannot recommend enough making a simple chart on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Have like AM, 12 to 4, 4 to 8, and PM. And just put a little arrow with how you feel up,
Yeah.
down, sideways, whatever. What's amazing is that the trick of this is that it shows you that even if like it's like down for a bit, like it moves.
Yeah.
And the second you realize that the mood is flexible, that you're like, okay, I can work with this. I'm not saying it fixes everything, but it is a pretty good trick that works a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a good like hack. People are. I didn't understand. I never understood what journaling was about. But then I was like, oh, just writing down like, hey, fuck everything might be kind of useful right now.
Oh, definitely.
Just getting over because we're really in the hailstorm.
Yeah.
It's like we were grabbed out of bed without warning and thrown into an ice cold like water slide. Like someone just picked us up and threw us.
Accurate.
So it's totally okay to be like, in fact, it's normal.
Yeah.
And if you aren't, no matter where you're at, it's all good.
I mean,
acknowledging where you're at, no matter how you are, like, it's fine. Just be where you are.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to get picked up, let's I don't like you know what? I do like my brain coming back online.
Okay.
But I think I have some sort of brain damage because I have been like simple tasks have been so complicated the last couple of days. Like I've been like, I had to set up another email channel and like some Google backend Google group thing. And I just stared at it for a while and I was like, nah. And I went and got Oscar and I was like, this is probably pretty simple, but my brain is like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I literally just need your help because apparently I can't do this right now.
I mean, I think that seems entirely reasonable. I have had a real hard time being able to get concentration done. Just like being able to sit and have your mind focus enough to be able to get like thinking and writing done has been very difficult. Like, yeah, I have a number of thinking and writing things that are pushing up on deadlines, and man, that shit's hard.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue.
I will tell you one magnificent thing I did this week.
Okay. Hit me.
It feels like the best little bit of self-care I may have ever done.
Oh, I'm excited.
But as has commanded a great deal of attention, the price of eggs is insane. I think at our local grocery store right now, where they are on sale, they're like $9 for a dozen. And that's a lot of money for some eggs. And so this weekend, I kind of threw out, like 2009 style, threw out on social media, like, who has some good ideas for eggless breakfasts?
Mhm.
And just tons and tons and tons of stuff came in. And one person was like, oh, you should make some breakfast burritos, like, you know, some potato or, you know, whatever. And then freeze them, like make a whole bunch, freeze them. And then
Mhm.
you can just dethaw, you know, warm them up in the microwave and then throw them on a skillet real quick to kind of crisp up the tortilla. And so I was like, well, that sounds like a good idea. So Sunday evening, Janice and I set up a little breakfast burrito assembly line, fried up some potatoes. We even got some veggie breakfast sausage and fried that up, and made a big batch of brown rice. And we made 2 batches of burritos. One was like potato and rice and sausage, and the other was like more of a traditional rice and beans situation.
Mhm.
Rolled them all up, put them in, you know, little plastic wrap as you go. Threw them all into, like, the 2 batches into 2 Ziploc bags, threw them in the freezer. And the next day, woke up, grabbed a burrito, unwrapped it from the plastic, wrapped it in a little wet paper towel, threw it in the microwave for 2 minutes, then slapped it down on a nice olive oily pan till it was nice and browned on 2 sides. It was incredible. It was so good.
Now here's the thing. I'm less a burrito person.
Okay.
I'm tacos, I'm enchiladas,
Okay.
I'm like every other form, but for some reason sometimes I feel like the burrito is too full.
Well, I mean, you need, if you're making your own, you can
pull it back. Dial it back.
You can dial it back. These are smaller because they're like breakfast, you know.
They have sauce in them, salsa. I need a liquid.
Well, I mean, I ate mine with salsa. I did not put salsa inside because the idea of hot salsa sounds gross to me. So, but
so you know, you have like a nice crispy hot breakfast burrito with a little side salsa.
Yeah, exactly. A little side salsa, a little sour cream.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was so great, and we were able to make 12 of them, like half and half. So we've got like breakfast for a while because it's not like we're eating them every day. But man, it was great. I've never felt like I took more care of myself than that moment when I opened up the freezer and there was a whole bunch of burritos. So we do have some control over things right now. Now, ironically, probably all of the ingredients cost more than a dozen eggs, but still.
I mean, that's a really good
counts.
But it's a very good, like, serious breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's going to carry some weight.
It did. I was actually not hungry, which I usually am hungry mid-morning, and then I have to have like a nut snack or something. And this time, no nuts for me.
Well, I've been making my variation on Dishoom, on the restaurant Dishoom, the London Indian restaurant chain.
Yeah.
Of their famous cardamom date banana breakfast oats. I just like rough it based on what they do. Take 1 banana, just mash it up. If you're gonna make a bunch, smash 2 bananas, whatever you got. Throw that in the bottom of the pot. Plus you get the steel cut oats, which are the ones that look like little nuggets.
Yeah.
Put about a cup of those in there.
Okay.
4 cups of water. So like basically a cup of water per quarter cup of oats.
Yeah.
Then I chop up a couple dates for the whole pot, maybe 3 dates for the whole thing. So that's not very much. If you don't have dates, don't worry about it. I drizzle in a little tiny bit of maple syrup. I don't make it too sweet. Then whatever kind of dry stuff I have in the cupboard. Like right now I have a bag of some pistachios from Trader Joe's. I smashed a couple of those up. That it goes in there. You got a little sprinkle of like dried desiccated coconut. You can sprinkle that in there. Like basically whatever you got, a little sprinkle this.
Yeah.
The trick is cardamom. They use pods. I just use powdered because I don't want to accidentally just eat a pod of cardamom or have to fish it out. I sprinkle a little cinnamon. You just basically, the key is the kind of banana thicks it up. Sweeten it a little bit with the date, the maple syrup, whatever, cardamom, pinch of salt. tiny, tiny.
Yeah.
Just let that bloop, bloop, bloop up back on the stove while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. When it's done, I kind of pull it over. Then I have these little mason jar, little like squat ones.
Okay.
Bloop, 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 4 servings.
Boom.
Then, in a real old-fashioned twist, while I'm doing other stuff in the kitchen, I set those on the
Cover them in
windowsill.
wax.
I put them in the windowsill to cool like a pie.
Nice.
Before I put it in the fridge, I let it like actually kind of cool sitting by the frigid Arctic temperatures that are coming in through the window. Boom, in the fridge. Then in the morning, bloop in a bowl, microwave, splash of oat milk, boom. Piping hot Indian cardamom banana date kind of oats.
I love that.
Yeah.
Put them in the window.
And I put them in the window to cool.
You're up too high. Nobody can steal them.
No one, listen, you have to have a drone to steal them. And you still have to kind of get through my window.
A few years ago, and I think it was at the Brooklyn Museum of Art, there was a performance art piece where they had set up a little house just outside. And the artist would bake a pie in the house every day and then place it on the windowsill. And the performance was over. The first person that would steal the pie off the windowsill. And then they would do it the next day. And I want
that job.
I know, right? I know, right?
I got so much baking stuff for Christmas. Like, I now have so much fancy baking stuff. I got like little crimpy rollers and like all kinds of. It's like I should be running like a bakery. But I don't really bake that much because I would eat all the baked goods.
Yeah, there's that.
So I think I do have to open up Maureen's Patreon bakery.
Okay. I don't know what the rules are for home chefs in New York, but in Illinois they changed the home chef rules. I think during COVID, because you used to have to, like, even if you were doing a very small level of production, if it was at all to sell or to cater or anything, you had to use a commercial kitchen, and they waived those rules. And it's been very transformative for a lot of folks here because suddenly you can do that and actually sell it, and it's legal, and nobody's going to shut that shit down at a certain point.
I'm just going to give people just bake the cookies, chuck them out the window, see who catches them.
They drop a ways.
They do.
Well, not right now. You could just be the exclusive baker for the guys that live on the scaffolding outside your window.
So there is that. The reason we are recording tonight at 5:00, is because as of yesterday morning, this has never really stopped, but yesterday morning, the really hardcore drilling started.
Yeah.
The one that made the whole place shake, where Oscar and I couldn't hear each other talk in the same room. That. And I have to say, it didn't contribute to how I felt. Like, I was like,
I would imagine.
So it didn't make me feel happy. So it was a little quieter today, but I have passed them drinks out the window.
This is what I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of things I don't understand, but specifically about this, it has been months and months now.
Yeah. Months.
They are not obligated to give you any sense of the scope, scale, or length of the work.
So they did do that. They sent us a note that said, good news, phase 2 will begin in the spring.
Is phase 2 them fucking right off?
They really began phase 1 in like June.
Yeah. That's madness.
This is the reason we had to leave this place.
Yes.
The last week of October because it was so loud, and I ended up being in Philly during election week.
Yeah.
Or right before election week.
This doesn't seem...
It feels relentless.
Correct. Yeah, you know why? 'Cause it is.
Yeah, but it's such a great city.
Sure, we'll go with that.
That's why I'm here on this island.
Well, Maureen.
Dan, do we have to talk about the news?
Probably.
Can you do it in a funny voice at least?
Well, Maureen, sure.
Okay. No.
All right, great. Phew, because that would have hurt eventually.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that.
Maureen Johnson, here's the thing
Okay.
that is very, very, very hard for me to understand in my brain. And I think it speaks to a lot of the issues that we were describing earlier in terms of our brains. Donald Trump has only been president for like a week and a couple days.
Now, I'm going to stop you right there, Dad, and just object in general.
Yeah. I mean,
great. That's all.
It's acceptable.
I just wanted my objection recognized. Thank you.
He was inaugurated last Monday. That is impossible for me to understand, comprehend, or align with everything I know about how time progresses, I would say.
Right.
We have been in full fucking chaos mode ever since. We've been living under a barrage of never-ending executive orders. There's simply too many to list them all, but some of them include ending birthright citizenship, which is absolutely 100% unconstitutional, attempting to define gender from the point of conception, which is insane.
Which is what?
Yeah. We are all now officially the gender of blob, I guess.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm good with being blob.
I feel that. You know, it feels right.
Yeah. Ending federal anti-discrimination and hiring efforts that date back to the 1960s, withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accords, while also ending all federal funding for wind power, withdrawing from the World Health Organization, firing independent inspectors generals who actually are now refusing to leave because that is illegal, pardoning all of the January 6 motherfuckers, many of whom, not many, but some of whom, hilariously, have already found themselves back in jail. Great job, everyone on that shit. Ending all diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in the federal government, banning trans troops from the military, freezing all international aid, including shit like disbursement of HIV medicine that was already purchased, freezing all National Science Foundation grants. This one is awesome because nobody's even sure why this is happening. It is unclear which executive, this is a quote, which executive orders are responsible for this freeze, though researchers suspect it may be related to President Trump's targeting of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. It just goes on and on and on. Here in Chicago, there in New York, ICE has begun conducting raids. I will say with great deal of civic pride. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, said on CNN today that they have not had as much progress in Chicago as they thought they would because of effective organizing efforts that let people know their rights. Also, weird Chicago aside, this guy's name is Tom Homan. Homan Square is a notorious Chicago police black site where they take and torture people. So
good. Great. Yeah. Good.
A very weird thing to have a guy named Homan talking about that kind of shit. What else? The president of Colombia got in a fight with Trump this weekend over the deportation flights, resulted in a brief trade war between the two countries. That is likely a harbinger of what's to come with Denmark over Greenland, where Trump has already had what has been reported as an expletive-filled call. And in one of the bigger bombs to go off, and yet also there's a breaking news update to this, but one of the bigger bombs to go off last night, an inexactly worded memo issued from the Office of Management and Budget that said that all grants, loans, and financial assistance from the government would be put on pause until it could be determined if the payments aligned with Trump's agenda. That memo went out, and no one knew how to interpret it. And so one of the things that we've learned a lot this week, when inexact things are written and require interpretation, they are interpreted in the broadest possible way.
Yeah.
First of all, the president can't order disbursement of funds to stop because the president is not in charge of the purse. This is like Constitution 101. So first of all, he can't do this. Second of all, they cannot do this. Third of all, they did it anyway. That has meant all day full chaos. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. Literally people discovering that things are shut down simply because they try and log into, say, a portal for Medicaid. And that it's not clear if Medicaid is included in this executive order or not, or if it's simply that a tech contractor or something pulled a switch because they weren't going to be paid. Who knows? It's full chaos. Even that the first White House presser, because this man has only been in office for a week, they haven't had an actual press conference until fucking today. Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, who's worth pointing out, wore an enormous cross. It's classy and great. I love it. Basically kept saying that she would have to look into it when asked about any specifics about any of this. Now, a lot of lawsuits have flowed out over this already. And as we were recording, because all of this money was supposed to dry up at 5 p.m. Eastern, a federal judge, this is from the Associated Press, a federal judge has temporarily blocked a Trump administration freeze on federal grants and loans. U.S. District Judge Lauren L. Alican blocked the action Tuesday afternoon, minutes before it was set to go into effect. The administrative stay pauses the freeze until Monday.
Would that affect things like payments from the VA, like kind of everything? Like
the only thing in the memo that it said it wasn't affecting was payments for Social Security and Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, no one fucking, like literally no one knows. And it doesn't help when there's no information. The amount of sort of opportunistic reporting of like, well, these things aren't here. I saw this huge long list being distributed, people reposting and commenting on this big long list. It was like 4 separate Blue Sky posts of 4 images each. Each image is like a screen grab of something. And it's like literal bullet points of like thing by thing by thing by thing. And I'm like, wow, this is fucking wild. Like, how come I don't see this anywhere else? And it turns out that the person that reported it was all, I used ChatGPT for my source, but then I checked everything. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me here?
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of that going around where it's like there is an information void and people are sprinting to fill that void. And sometimes they're filling it in good ways. In fact, the whole memo that leaked last night actually leaked from an independent reporter first, came to an independent reporter first, took a couple hours, I think, before it was picked up by, major news orgs. But let's just, reporting 101, ChatGPT is not a source.
It isn't?
I know it's weird. You can't just simply say, hey, make me a list of everything that has been banned, because it doesn't know. But it will make you that list. Anyway.
There's also the fact that we were like, we no longer work with the World Health Organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
and that all kind of external communications sort of with the National Institute of Health and the CDC. So they were all kind of stopped.
Yeah.
But like basically all this kind of research and everything that was in process just got completely gummed up.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, this is another situation where nobody is even sure what or why. But there are a lot of scientists who are like, I was on my way to a meeting and that meeting got canceled.
Yeah,
or
the people were just like, I was about to go in and do a bunch of science.
Yeah.
And they were
well,
like,
this
go
week
home.
especially, all of the parts of the National Institutes of Health were supposed to be doing their grant reviews, and those have all been stopped. So that will have a long-term knock-on effect if that is not started anytime soon. We're really doing this, Maureen.
I have two friends so one is at NIH. Don't worry,
Yep.
my friends, I'm not going to say anything about you. I'm going to talk about you in a real broad way. Another just works for the federal government. And they showed the memo that's like, immediately all work from home was over, figure it out. Let's just pull all the wiring that we've put in place for 4 years with no preparation. And just say, no idea of like reworking schedules, hot desking, availability of, just availability of stuff, just like anything.
Yeah.
Just like, do this now. And I asked the NIH friend who actually works in a more clinical setting, and they're like, yeah, well, right now our patients are in, but like, we don't know like how it's going to impact like how they get here and what they do.
Yeah.
And just, there's just an air of like, who fucking knows? Like,
yeah.
So it is happening. And there is this, I was describing it to someone today because I was trying to like do my stupid little job. And I was talking to two other people and I was like, it's weird that we're trying to do this. And I feel like it's like we're trying to have this tiny little conversation while people are actively like chucking throwing stars around. Like it just feels like you're trying to do everything.
Yeah.
But you've decided to do it in the middle of like a rifle range. You're like, I'm going to sit here. Just like, just going to sit here. I know this is an active minefield, but I thought this would be a great place to sit down and like send my dumb little emails. And just talking to like someone in the UK publishing, and I was just being really like, hey, like and I'm like, well, kind of our red line is if like martial law is declared, like I live with an immigrant.
Yeah.
So like we've had these conversations and, like I'm being careful what I say because my immigrant husband is very careful about what he says.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so we're a little bit like, hey, so we have some sort of red lines about how we, and she's like, it's literally insane that you're writing this in this email to me. And I was like, yeah, I know. Anyway, thanks for the update on the publicity. Everything. That's the thing, is that we're all also just trying to do this, like just stuff.
Yeah.
Like the people that run the country and feed everybody and help everybody not get well and do the research and like keep everything going and the roads working and the airports working and like literally people are like keeping the food coming and everything are like, who knows? Did we just shut off 11% of the economy? Didn't we? Do we have desks? What are we supposed to be doing? Who fucking knows? Like, who fucking knows?
Literally nobody knows. Like that is one of the things that became exceptionally clear. I mean, it's been fairly clear all along that like they came ready with a lot of these executive orders. Well, first of all, fuck every single pundit and reporter who over the course of the summer bought into the story that Project 2025 was overblown and that Trump doesn't have anything to do with it and doesn't know them and blah, blah, blah. We are in full effect of this thing being implemented exactly as it was written.
Yes.
So fuck all of that. But anyway, they came ready this time, much more ready than last time. And they came with willing stooges this time, which they didn't have as much of last time. And so they are able to move on these things very quickly. The thing that they seem to have not thought through, thankfully, is that their work is still just as shoddy and shit as last time. Seemingly also added by ChatGPT. Like, there are a lot of people that have looked through the executive orders and are like, oh, clearly they are using some AI to write this shit. Like when there's a bullet list and every single thing is numbered 1 on it. That's kind of a giveaway. But and so there are just things like their executive order on gender, where like, okay, literally no, like, I guess everyone is at best definition female, but probably mostly we're just blobby now, because that's all there is at that moment. And there's just a lot of real shitty, sloppy, didn't check my work shit. Like this executive order last night that kind of threw the entire government into chaos. They are now trying to claim that it was supposed to be more focused than this and really only about a few things, but they're just sloppy. The difference is now they are sloppy, and that slop is attempt to be implemented instead of people being like, I don't know what to do, so I guess I'll just kind of slow roll this.
So can I say something positive?
I would love it.
First of all, why does my desk smell like vodka? I don't even own vodka. Oh, it's the lime.
Isn't part of the deal with vodka is that it is tasteless and odorless?
No, maybe like gin. I mean, like there's this kind of like, but I think it's that this lime has a real kind of, sometimes limes get that real kind of dances on the edge of like, anyway.
It's good. It's good. Maureen just getting over an illness, drinking rotten lime juice.
It's a fresh lime that I just sliced.
Fermented lime.
I made a delicious little beverage. So I have a little bit of ginger syrup, so you can make like a homemade ginger ale.
Yeah.
Splash of that. Splash of tart cherry juice. Squeeze a lime. Little seltzer. It's got a little kick. Is that a little kick? You can make yourself a fancy non-alcoholic drink for dry January. Yeah. Yeah. I was about to tell you something positive.
Okay.
Hear me out. The future is small. Small is good. Because all of us, now that apparently all our shit's been blown up, are looking around and just immediately starting to pass stuff hand to hand.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Totally.
Which has always been the way that things work.
Yeah.
But now like today I was working with some stuff for Authors Against Book Bans, and this was part of the like setting up but I was like, this is like real hand to hand. I was like, I need a graphic done something to it. So I like reached out to somebody. I'm good at like helping organize events, but grassroots organizing, because I'm terrible delegating. I'm learning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Time to learn like all the actual how to work within an established grassroots organization, because people have already done a lot of the work.
Yeah.
And one of the main kind of pieces of wisdom I've seen online is like, hey, everybody, this is, you don't have to just go and invent something right now.
Yeah.
There are people that have been doing this work, and you can just join and do the work.
Totally.
And then there's a certain learning curve. Like, how does because it's just like expression. How does grassroots organizing work? How is actual work? What what does that mean? Yeah. Because it sounds easy. Like, you send email. Is that what it is? Like, you send email is fixed. Like, is now we make this? And it's so many pieces and parts, and it takes a little time. Yeah. Because some of these jobs are huge. Yeah. But then there's also people who are like, we could just set up a cabinet in our neighborhood and put food in it. Yeah. And then people could come and take the food. And that works. And that's good.
Oh, yeah.
The future is small.
Yeah.
Because
I'm in firm agreement there.
This whole like Okay, I'm going to say something that's going to seem grim, but it's not.
Okay.
I was there on 9/11. Like,
Yeah.
I was in New York, and I saw this smoke column. I was on the 59th Street Bridge, and I looked down at the smoke column coming up. And it was around noon that day, and it was a big column.
Yeah.
And then there was a certain point where it hit the atmosphere and turned flat like an anvil.
Mhm.
And then this like flat thing extended like way across the sky, and then it kind of stopped, but it was like an anvil.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you usually don't see a fire that hits a layer in the atmosphere and goes flat. But it was interesting. I'm like, oh, there's like the line in the sky. And this rolling wheel of like accelerated development, bigger, better, stupider, faster, break stuff.
Yeah.
AI, use AI for everything, do stupid stuff constantly, does have a limit where it goes up into the sky and then it hits a limit and it goes flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right now, it is just the true reminder that the thing that has always been true and always will be true is that people matter. And that's always been the bottom line.
Yeah.
And that the thing that I think is what made me so sad is just that realizing like, oh, to some people, other people really don't matter. And just internalizing that, like, oh, there are people, and a lot of them are like sort of in charge now that really don't think that other people exist.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
But then I look around and I'm like, but there are far more people that know and acknowledge that other people exist. And the whole sort of point of life has always been just being with other people anyway.
Yeah. No,
So-
I firmly agree. I wrote a whole thing late last week, I guess, about all of this moment in time and about how everything has been oriented in technology about scale, right? How do we get as big as possible, as fast as possible? And that has filtered down to us as well. How do we get the most followers as we can?
Right.
You know, and that's done. Like, it's over. Like, trying to, like, scale is useless. We do not need to chase scale for this. What we need to be doing is finding the right people, right? Like, to me, this what happened in Chicago this week is a perfect example, right? Like, here's fucking Tom Homan on TV saying there are pamphlets all over the place that say, know your rights, and people know their rights. And I don't call it knowing their rights. I call it how to avoid getting arrested. But it's like people printed up fucking pamphlets, right? People goddamn made sure that those pamphlets ended up in the hands of people that needed them, right? And it worked. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm a firm believer that the way we're going to get through this is in smaller groups doing smaller things that are much more impactful than the shit that we've been doing for a while, you know? So yeah, I think in that way I am hopeful. Now, that all that said, that's a pretty major shift in the way we've been doing shit for a long time. But, you know, our hand is being forced for sure.
You're like, me, Dan Sinker, I have been ready for this forever. I have been
I'm all Phil Collinsing over here. I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Now it's the drum solo. Yeah.
So that's Dan. So you have to imagine the two inside of you. There are two Phil Collinses. One is Dan, who is doing that's Queen.
You were doing a little bit of Queen.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. He's doing that. I'm the other Phil Collins, who's kind of like the saucy, you know, was in a bunch of movies doing the little, hi, I'm a winking kind of funny English guy. And I'm like, I'm from Philly, fuckers. I've always been around crazy people. These fuckers, I get these fuckers. These fucker people raised me. And now. So the one power I have, find your superpower. And mine is, I know these crazy kind of fuckers 100%. Truly, they are on my street and my family. I was raised by these crazy fuckers, and you fuckers taught me. And you know what? Now I'm going to be smiley and weird at you. And Dan's going to be like doing the drum solo over there. He's going to be making 20 zines and like building shit in his yard. I'm just going to be like, I was out doing weird things in the night, Dan. You're like, I started 25 projects and I've accidentally, I have a printing press now. And I've been making,
I would love a printing press.
I've been making a printing press, Maureen, and I've started a newspaper. Like I'm in the 1600s or 1700s. Oh, the printing. I've got little letter types. I found the letter types. These are old letter types. I made the newspaper. And
It's all true.
I'm like, I rolled the guy's car into the river.
I would love a fucking actual real goddamn printing press so much. When I was in high school, this is back when like high school, well, one, my high school was enormous, right? So they had everything from like, you know, super high end college prep shit to all the way to like trade training, right? But this was back when high schools tried to do trade stuff as well. And so we had a whole wing of the high school called the Applied Arts Wing that was like metal shop and wood shop, and they had a whole big auto shop, but they also had a printing like a printing press area. And Maureen, I fucking lived in there. My senior year, I was just in there constantly. There were 2 huge offset printers. Like you could just do anything you fucking wanted. I mean, I was like learn to expose plates. I would kill for an offset printer, but you need like a whole situation to pull that off. Much easier to go old school letterpress, which my friend Jen runs a letterpress studio, and it's amazing. But yeah,
I should have gone to public school.
Seize the means of production.
Seize the means of production. Find your Phil Collins. Which Phil Collins are you? Also, I just want to shout out everyone that sent me a screen grab of this weekend's Saturday Night Live, which for some reason had in the background 2 copies of my books.
Whoa.
But yeah. So
What books?
Nine Liars and The Box in the Woods are in the background of this sketch.
Holy shit.
It's just it's a wall of books. So there's a whole bunch of them, but it's really easy just the way the graphics are on these books. You can
They
really
just
easily
jump
see the
out.
titles. That's sort of like the time that the new Sex and the City started.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate Sex and the City.
Yeah.
And I never watched it.
Yeah.
I think it's horrible.
The reboot, the recent
Any
one?
of it, I think it's all a nightmare. I never watched the
My
original.
pal Samantha Irby wrote on that, on the reboot, though. So
no offense to anybody that likes it.
Yeah.
It's just never been my thing.
Sure.
But I watched because I was on a podcast that famously is like a comedy podcast about it.
Okay.
And I had to watch an episode.
Right.
And the episode I watched had this like, it was one of the kids' bedrooms. And there's not much like, there's just a handful of books in the bedroom. And one of them was Truly Devious. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I watched one episode and it felt very like, do they know I'm watching? Like it felt very, oh my God, they know I'm watching. Made me a little paranoid.
That's like Punk Planet's relationship with the Gilmore Girls. We're all over that shit. Multiple episodes with Punk Planet dropped in.
You're fancy.
Was fancy.
I think we need to kind of bring this one to a close.
This episode?
I think so.
Okay. That sounds great.
Because I think everybody just needs a chance to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, we are all here together as we've been all this time.
I have actually, Maureen, been thinking about our phrase for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Which you threw out on our January 1st episode. You came ready. You saw it ahead of time, which is make space.
Mm-hmm.
And I have actually been thinking about just how applicable that is. as I have been sort of struggling to get my brain clear enough to get some of the work that I need to get done and all of that. And I'm just like, I need to make space. I said that to myself today, in fact.
You need to make space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go slow. After this, also, I'm going to be taking a warm bath because the one thing that's been helping me get over the flu is like a warm bath every day.
Okay.
The nice warm steam.
Yeah.
Seems to help, and it just kind of warms me up. Like I just sometimes get super cold, like I am right now. I'm like I'm freezing, and I don't know why. But partially because it's fucking freezing out, and but I had like a bunch of these like magnesium salt flakes to add to your bath. Like you just throw the handful of those into the tub, and everything I have, I'm like putting too much value on, like magnesium. You better fix this. Like everything I have, I'm just really vitamin D tablet, weird mushroom coffee. You're up, So everything is, I'm putting a lot of weight on magnesium right now. Like magnesium, don't fuck me. Don't fuck me, magnesium.
Maureen?
Yeah.
I'm staring at a headline.
No.
This one's a good one.
Oh, okay.
This one is our solution to all of our problems. This is from CNBC. The headline, Boeing is working with Elon Musk to deliver Air Force One replacements sooner.
Look, we're all thinking it. It's okay to think it.
Godspeed to them. Crank those out as fast as you can.
Don't sleep on this, you guys. Just get it moving.
Do not rest until those planes are taxiing down the runway.
Honestly, look, just stop with all the paperwork and stuff. Just get it moving. That's what this is about. Just like stop the slow up and the bureaucracy. Who needs checking and guidelines, you guys? Just fucking do it.
Quote, we've been engaged with Elon on the Air Force One program to eliminate costs and deliver the aircraft earlier, Ortberg said in an interview with CNBC's Phil LeBeau.
You want Boeing going quick. That's what
Absolutely.
You want.
Just cut the corners, get it done.
Go.
Get it done. I love it. See? We're ending on a high note. Says Who
is brought to you by Boeing.
Is made possible by the Boeing Elon Musk merger.
And Phil Collins.
And also by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho, where $5 gets you this all over again and $10 gets you this and a sticker in the mail every month. At patreon.com/sayswho. Our theme music is performed by Ted Leo. Thank you, Ted. Our logo is designed by Darth. You can contact us at sayswhopodcast.com, on Blue Sky, at sayswho, at omfg.town on Mastodon. You can email it, hey, that is HEY at sayswhopodcast.com. You can join the discussion on Facebook at /group/Sayswhovians. Our Facebook group is moderated by Janice Dillard. Thank you, Janice. There's also a fan-run Discord server at tinyurl.com.
I said hi in there today. I popped in and said
Discord.
Hello.
You can spread the word, subscribe, leave stars and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever it is that you listen. And you can join us next Wednesday, February 5th.
Shut up.
I don't make the calendars, Maureen.
Fuck you.
For our very next episode. From my basement in Chicago. Wait, how is it February 5th? I'm confused about something.
Just is.
It is. Okay. Yeah. All right. For our very next episode from my basement in Chicago, I am Dan Sinker.
And from the greatest goddamn city in the world, New York City, Phil Collins. I'm Maureen Johnson, Phil Collins.
This has been Says Who.
I can feel it coming.
That song absolutely fucking rips.
It does. You got to give it to him.
You really got to give it to him.